What's up, Internet? It is the 7th day of Metamorph, and man, a whole bunch of stuff happened today. The main thing is going to be that we finally got our Atziri's reflection, almost purely through luck. I've been grinding away at Awakening level 5, trying to unlock more Watchstones, and one of the bonuses you get for Awakening level is this chance to get like unique maps. I think somewhere here, yeah, 5% chance for an additional unique item, or some other kind of, I don't know. We've been getting a lot more unique map drops at Awakening level 5, like Shaper Guardians and stuff. And one of the ones I got was the Cortex map, which is going for a little over an Exalt. And I thought about it for a while, and I decided to run it because I'd never gotten to see that fight during Synthesis. I only ever spawned the other bosses, and didn't really have a ton of playtime in that league anyway. So I never saw him. I thought, well, I want to see it. And I just lucked out and dropped a Bottled Faith off of the Cortex, which is insanely expensive right now. I think I sold it for like 9 Exalts, or like 8.5 or something. And on top of the Shaper set that I had, well, I had three fragments, and I still had a Pit of the Chimera map I hadn't run, and they were, those are going for a ton of money right now, like 70 to 90 chaos a piece. So I threw everything back into the trade market, sold the Bottled Faith, and had enough money to pick up the cards and run Uber Atziri to get my reflection. So now that we're into the reflection setup, finally, we had some more changes to make, right? We had to add the Coward's Legacy. This is only going for like an Exalt or so, which isn't bad compared to last league, I think. At least at the time I bought it. We picked up just like a rare ring that would cover some of our resists, give us some more max life and mana to cover what we were losing on the belt, and try to get one with Dex and cast speed, as our requirements are going to be going up here for dexterity. And then, of course, in the other ring, we're wearing an Essence Worm for the Hatred Aura, which is 19% more cold damage without reserving any mana in this ring, as long as we don't have any other reservations. Now, of course, we're wearing the Coward's Legacy so that if you read the item here, it says you count as low life while you're cursed with vulnerability, and then you're cursed with level 20 vulnerability at all times. The only way to temporarily remove that, I think, is to use a Curse Immunity Flask, which obviously we don't want to do, since we are unaffected by curses and we get a little bit of damage from self-flagellation up all the time from this. This also stops vulnerability from being rolled when Soul Mantle goes to curse you, I'm pretty sure. So I think you technically hit your curse cap a little bit faster and more frequently, since you're checking one less curse. But the reason we want to be counted at low life is because of Pain Attunement, which is 30% more spell damage only when you're on low life. And thanks to the belt, that's all the time, because we're not going to take that vulnerability off. So that allowed us to come out of Sanctum of Thought. And for now, I just have those points over here in this Arcane Swiftness line, which is actually a very good damage line, but also comes with some nice defensive bonuses, and is one of my favorite islands. I do have some currency left over, but I haven't gotten quite enough to pick up a decent Hatred Watcher's Eye, so we're going to stay in Arcane Swiftness. And I came up into a little bit more mana. This gear set doesn't quite give me as much mana as I would want to feel fully comfortable. I don't have a mana roll on my helmet, for example, or on my amulet. We have decent mana rolls here and here, but for now I'm just going to keep Deep Thoughts. Maybe the Watcher's Eye would be just enough to cover our mana comfortably, but for now I'm just going to leave Deep Thoughts until I hit 96. And if I have enough currency for a Watcher's Eye, we'll take a look at it again. So yeah, that was most of my day was spent just grinding after I got my reflection to see our new DPS. We're at about 700,000 Shaper DPS per totem now, with Flask up, which is a pretty nice boost. That's something like 40% more damage. We did have a bunch of deaths during that time, though. I think 4, because that was the basically the playtime right after I had attempted Awakener the second time. So I had no experience anyway. Like, I tried him right after I hit 95, and he killed me a bunch of times again, as you guys saw in the uploaded attempt video. So I ran a bunch of really dangerous stuff just because it was showing up. We ran like a totally nasty, a horrific Elder Guardian, the Enslaver. And I don't have any Ignite immunity, and I'm actually thinking about adding it to the build in place of the Adrenaline modifier after that experience, because the Enslaver hit me. It was a nasty map, to be fair, and one I wouldn't run a lot of the time if I had any experience to protect. But it being at 95, it's not that big of a deal, right? The Ignite he hit me with killed me, I think, more than twice over. Like, I dropped down, I was able to completely heal with this flask, and it dropped me all the way down again and killed me. So I'm thinking about adding Ignite to this flask instead of Adrenaline, going a little bit slower, but we get some of that movement speed back now that we're in the high budget setup, because we get 10% movement here and 6% from the implicit here. So that's what I'm thinking about. One thing I'm going to be doing too is updating the guide this weekend, now that I've had more time with the influence bases, and I've got some stronger ideas about recommendations. We definitely still want a Redeemer Amulet here, I think. It'll give us the opportunity to roll +1 to all cold spells, eventually, anyway. I think you need an 82 base for that, which is what I picked up originally, and just hit a decent amulet, and I didn't want to roll over it for now. Gloves, I think we're still going to do either Temple Mod or Shaper. I haven't seen anything amazing. I saw on PoEDB that you could roll Unnerve here from the Hunter influence, but I couldn't find anything on the trade site. So I think that might have just been an error. So we're probably sticking with these two options. Helm actually has some pretty interesting pieces, though. And the Ring. I noticed that in the Hunter's pool, I believe, you can get flat cold dispels here. And in the Warlords category, you can get things like Critical Strike Multiplier here, which would both be really ideal. The thing is, it's going to be insanely hard to get one of those bases that has a Freezing Pulse enchant on it. And I do think the Freezing Pulse projectile speed is a pretty competitive affix with the kind of magnitude of, the crit multi or the flat cold that you can get on those influence items. I think you can get up to 22% crit multi here on a Warlords, or like a 40-ish max flat cold from Hunter. Both of which are pretty good, but I do value projectile speed a lot, so it was not like mandatory, but it's definitely another good option, and it wouldn't require you to have a an enchantment on it. You could just grab one and roll it, and then you could just maybe run lab and try to enchant it yourself if you feel like you're gonna hit the lottery. And here in Ring, I know you can still roll crit multi from Warlord here too. I think that might wind up being ideal. I still have some more affixes to look through on the Ring, because I wasn't considering rings that much due to not really being in the high budget setup. So there's still some things that I'm looking at, but I've got a better idea. Like for wands, I think when we're in the high budget setup, one of the things I'm going to be doing is more seriously trying to roll this wand, because one of the affixes you can get here is we'll throw a few at it. I don't think we're going to get it, but you can get increased effect of hatred up to 40%, I think. Also, this 7% chance to deal double damage is actually a really powerful affix too, which would make this likely worth rolling. That's pretty good cold damage. But up to 40% hatred effect should be worthwhile as a suffix, to where it'll make it worth rolling that particular, the Redeemer base, so long as you're in the setup, where you're running hatred and the high budget stuff. I'll do some POB stuff on it. I would expect to see that update sometime Saturday or Sunday in the guide. One of the things to wrap up this video, I think we'll jump into. I do have a Redeemer fight here ready to go, and I haven't done this fight in a while. I don't remember if I fought her at Awakening 5 last time or not. The Awakening level doesn't seem to do much to those fights other than increase their health a little bit. People were saying that even the Awakener is that way. People that have fought him on both low tier, like Awakening 0 and Awakening 8, were saying that there was like no difference in the fight, which I find hard to believe, because there does seem to be a pretty dramatic difference in the rewards. I don't know if you've seen some of the clips of Awakener loot, but some people are basically getting absolutely nothing for killing him. Again, the Extremes video had a little clip of him killing him and getting like a transmute orb and some junk greens. We'll come back for this. I'll do this after the video. I'm not going to make you guys sit through Cassia. Obviously, if you haven't noticed here, this is after 3.9.1, which happened like an hour and a half ago maybe. And we finally have the auto pickup thing for the Metamorphs, which is super awesome. Unfortunately for us, it has come at an extremely high price because not listed in the patch notes, but very much present here, is the fact that Metamorphs are now freeze immune. I was pretty disappointed to see that myself. I don't know if it's a bug. I've posted it in the forums, but I have a hard time believing that that's not intentional. I've only checked that against Metamorphs that you make with the map boss piece. Like maybe if you just use like blue and yellow pieces and don't have the map boss in there, it's not true, but of course, who cares if it is true or not, right? You're going to want to make the Metamorph with the map boss piece anyway. So they're a lot more dangerous now, especially up at tier 15, tier 16, where they've got a lot of health and do some pretty absurd damage. So be very careful after 3.9.1. Metamorphs will be running wild. They haven't killed me or anything, but they're definitely a lot more dangerous. Other than the fact that now, I haven't seen a case where like it leaves those little black explodey things on the ground. Oh, I should probably not run into that. Funny, you can still freeze the boss, but not the Metamorph. So let's take her on. This fight usually doesn't take too long. She can do some pretty nasty damage if you stay close to her. She has a shotgunning projectile attack, which you really don't want to get hit with. Not that one. Oh! I think it was that one right there, actually. Oh, I froze. That's not good. Oop. Not going well. Okay, well, she died anyway.
The end of the cycle.
That's how it goes sometimes.
Until
So we got a couple of 85 pieces. And there's our Watchstone. Which puts us not quite up to Awakening 6, unfortunately. But soon enough. So yeah, I played it pretty bad and she still didn't kill me. I feel like the Elder Slayers, they're really just not that dangerous anymore. I feel like. I saw some nerfs to Drox in the patch notes too. That should make him a little bit less annoying. In the Chaos guy, we can just kind of, as long as you have this immune to poison on Shikari, you can kind of just run around and make sure you don't get hit by his main attack when he's on the outside, and you should kill him no problem. If you go in there without poison immunity or some kind of poison removal on your flask, though, at the higher tiers, he may give you a bad time. So yeah, I think I'll wrap it up here. I'm not sure, since we're done with the first week and we've got our high budget set up, and I'm not sure what else there's going to be other than more progression. I might not do these videos every single day. This is kind of the point where we're getting into really endgame grinding and just finishing up our Awakening levels. I'll definitely have a video for when we get our first Awakener kill. I didn't see any changes to the storms in the patch notes, strangely, so I don't really know how soon that's going to be. I might need a lot more chaos res, the way the fight's designed right now, to figure that one out. But yeah, I think this is probably the end of like the every single day, because you know we got almost all the gear we want here. There's still plenty of damage room. We can get a Watcher's Eye and stuff, but I don't want to just make videos every day and say, well, I cleared a few more maps and I got a couple more Watchstones and nothing else happened. And there's not going to be a ton of exciting gear upgrades from this point on, other than you know, getting maybe a Redeemer's Wand or thing. So the next time you see me, it'll probably be, you know, on the first Awakener kill or something along those lines. As always, thanks for everybody coming by the stream. I'm still going to be streaming a lot, even if I'm not uploading a video every single day. And if you want to come by and chat, it's twitch.tv/WallachTV. And I'll leave a link in the Discord as well. So until next time, guys. Peace.